The year is 1914. Cars look like this, outfits look like this, and well, telephones also look like this. Anyways, it seems like Germany is going to take over Europe. And to the Russians, the news basically comes to them like this.
Good morning, Grand Duke Nicholas. Would you like some tea?
Oh yes, my lady, I would in fact love some tea.
Oh yes. By the way, Grand Duke Nicholas, I have a letter here from Germany.
A letter? I see, pass it to me. Oh, it says here, Germany wants to declare war. Grand Duke Nicholas decides he would contribute to the war effort by sending in the First Army, commanded by General Paul von Rennkampf, and the Second Army, commanded by General Alexander Samsonov. So, despite Germany deciding to declare war on Russia first, Russia decides to get the first laugh, and they invade Prussia. The first major battle is the Battle of Stallupönen, and on the 17th of August, General Paul von Rennkampf decides to move his troops into the city with all 3 of its infantry corps. However, his army was unorganized. 3,000 Russian troops died and another 5,000 were captured. The Germans did not use this success though, and did not decide to chase the retreating Russians. Instead, General Francois and Foch followed orders and went on back to Gumbinnen. At Gumbinnen, the Russian army advances. However, the Russian army is also unaware that they are going to be attacked, and on the 20th of August, German commander General Prittwitz and Mackensen decided to push Rennkampf's army, while the Second Army commanded by Samsonov was still far to the south. While being caught by surprise, the Russians fight back and are able to regroup. They end up launching some artillery at them. After shooting artillery at the Germans, General Rennkampf pushes and the Germans are defeated, and run away to the Intersburg-Annersburg line, leaving behind approximately 6,000 prisoners in Russian hands. After the battle, Rennkampf decided to relax for a bit, which made him lose contact with the 8th German Army. At the same time, the 2 armies the Tsar sent down are getting hampered with supply issues. This is mostly because Russian trains kinda suck and are not able to fit onto the railways that Germany built. This issue led to a bunch of soldiers not having food or ammo. Despite this, the Second Army, led by Samsonov, decided to push westward, while the First Army would camp it out. Samsonov's strat was to push north, seizing all key German rail hubs and preventing the German 8th Army from regrouping. The first, which was the left western flank, moved towards Niedenberg and Soledau. The second force was the center column, which advanced towards Udesau and Allenstein. And the third one was the eastern flank, which moved towards Osterde and meant to link up with Rennkampf. By 22nd to 23rd, these corps were stretched over 80 miles and also had really bad coordination. During this time, Samsonov expected the First Army to advance from the east and engage the Germans. However, the First Army was really slow, so it never happened. Therefore, Samsonov was all by himself during the battle. Meanwhile, the German 8th Army, under new commanders Hindenburg and Ludendorff, took advantage of Russian mistakes. First, they abandoned East Prussia's eastern front and moved their entire force south to deal with Samsonov. Second, German units used railways to quickly reposition troops, which was something Samsonov forces could not do due to Russia's lack of rail infrastructure in the area. The third was that Germans intercepted unguarded Russian radio messages, confirming that Rennkampf was not moving fast enough to support Samsonov. Additionally, the Germans were also planning an ambush. They planned to lure Samsonov and his troops deeper by faking a retreat. The Germans plotted to lure Samsonov and his troops deeper by faking a retreat towards Allenstein. At this point, Samsonov absolutely fell for that trap. Samsonov, believing that he was fighting a weak, retreating enemy, decides to push him and ends up going even further north with no reconnaissance. Basically, as Samsonov's forces neared Tannenberg, on the 26th of August, the Germans launched a devastating counterattack from all 3 sides. Francois's forces attacked from the west, Mackensen's forces attacked from the center, and Otto von Billow's forces attacked from the east, blocking any chance to retreat. The battle kicked off by Francois's First Corps launching an assault on the Russian left near Usedau? At first he met some resistance, but eventually Francois was successful in capturing the town. On the 27th, the German forces continued their advance. Francois's troops seized Niedenberg, disrupting Russian supply lines. The Russian center, facing relentless pressure from Schultz's 10th Corps, began to get clapped. On the 28th, the Germans had Samsonov's forces circled, making Samsonov's forces have to fight on all 4 sides. By the 29th and 30th of August, the Russians were basically defeated. Most Russians were surrendering. By the 29th and 30th of August, the Russians were basically defeated. I mean, most Russians were surrendering to the Germans. And while Samsonov, being the sore loser he is, he decides to just go into the forest and just team kill himself. By the end of the fight, 70,000 to 120,000 Russian soldiers have been wounded or killed. I mean, by the end, the battle is remembered as a decisive victory for the Germans, and as a catastrophic failure on part of the Russians. Number 6. The battle is remembered because the Russians got clapped and it led to a decisive victory for the Germans. It also highlights the problems that the Russian military has, like terrible trains, which lead to bad transportation of vital resources needed to fight wars, such as food or ammo. And number 9, well, no, the Canadians did not in fact fight.